Not the bees. Not the bees. Not the bees. This is Nick Cage. I'm going to remind you to stay away from Hillary Island. Also, screw the bees. Screw the bees to heck. Effing bees. Yeah, Wicker Man. A large wicker grave. In fact, my own grave is certainly going to be a giant wicker pyramid in which my body will be encased and later immolated in a giant fireball. In fact, I've even purchased my own cannon from which to shoot the gun from a mile away that will impact upon my wicker pyramid, and then my body will be consumed into a huge flame, and then I will rise into the higher status of being. My essence will then coalesce into a higher state of being. I beg to differ. Wicker Man is one of the best films of all time. In fact, it's cinema verite. You know, in Mandy I go crazy on a bunch of biker freaks. But in Wicker Man I go crazy on a bunch of witches. In fact, I even punch a witch in the face. Why would you not appreciate that film? It's one of my greatest works, one of my greatest achievements. Perhaps you've heard of Nick Cage, the greatest actor of all time. And in fact, Wicker Man is one of the best films of all time. You know, in the role leaving Las Vegas, I imbibed a lot of alcohol to get the real feel of what it was like. And in Wicker Man, I really got mad at a lot of witch bitches and fucked them up really good. I hope you understand, it's cinema verite. It's real. It's cinema verite. My face comes off in Face Off. Hello, this is Nick Cage. It's a public service announcement. I want to give you 10 reasons, actually a bunch of reasons why Wicker Man is actually one of the best films ever. My goal is not yet to convince you. My goal is to hope to win you over with my finesse and suave, debonair attitude, as well as to also convince you through the use of logic and reason. First of all, imagine it as Hillary Island. Basically, I'm going upstate to Hillary Hell Island. I'm going to take on a coven of Hillary's toughest witches. And second of all, understand that I'm a normal person like you. Yes, I buy islands and giant cannons and blow up alligators, but I'm also very normal. I drink beer and fight with Vince Neil, just as any normal human being would do. And so I listen to self-help tapes, such as Everything is Okay, as you see me doing. I'm also a patriarchal savior figure. It's the Cagearchy, you could say. Something one up better than the patriarchy. Also, I reflect upon the fact that when this came out, there weren't a lot of esoteric films yet. And so great analyzers like J Analysis, or however you pronounce this, J's Analysis, they have a tendency to nail films perfectly. And I could really say that my Wicker Man was one of the first films to bring this to the public consciousness on an esoteric level. Now, I was new to esoteric symbolism at the time, and I read Jay's Analysis, and it really woke me up. You'll also notice that organic food comes up in the film. I basically started that trend for the rest of America, so you can thank me for that. Summer's Isle. It's Summer's Isle's where I'm going. As I said, Hillary Island. It's in a way kind of a MGTOW film. It's men going their own way, taking on Hillary Island directly. Me and Nick Cage, the Cagearchy, versus the Hags, the feminist matriarchy. If you remember, there was a Salem witch cult. Now, before I saved America for probably the 4th or 5th time, if you count Con Air, National Treasure, I had to save America from Hillary Island. And I did this single-handedly. I'm going to give you an interpretation of the film that you probably never heard before. You probably thought that I died and that was it. But actually, no. There's a lot more going on in this film if you pay attention. In fact, my sacrificial death itself saved America once again. Now, we all know that Salem was full of witch cults. That's why I put this in this film. These bitches are cold. They're on the left-hand path, and that's why they got a left-hand smack from my hand. A pimp left-hand smack. In fact, if you paid attention, you'll notice that I intentionally put Plato's symbolic imagery in the film. There's the egg and the serpent. There's the maypole. There's the creepy songs, the creepy songs, and the bees. Did you know the bees were a Masonic symbol because the queen in the hive, one thinks of the Queen of England perhaps, or perhaps other such nobility, such as myself, Sir Nick Cage. Now, if you paid attention to the beehive symbolism, then you know that my taking on the queen through my sacrificial death, in fact, reversed her powers. It was, in fact, the burning of Nick Cage that resulted in the crops failing for another year. This is one of the alternate, unreleased endings of the film that no one has seen, but of course myself. Keep in mind as well that this is an island where they steal children. Children are missing. They've gone missing. I'm here to solve the case. Fertility of the land is sacred in most religions. It's May Day, in fact. May Day is the time of the Illuminati. If you don't know about May Day, there's a reason why it comes back. Now, the snake wrapped around the egg is a phallic symbol. The symbol is me. I'm basically the only phallus on the island. There were a few beta grunts who were doing menial tasks. Not me. I was the only male on that island. And, of course, I fought to the death. The snake wraps around the egg. The snake is the phallus. The egg is feminine. This comes from Plato's Timaeus, if you're not familiar. Now, the girl is everything in the film because she's dead. All right, so we have essentially pagan pantheism coming to the fore. And the island is cursed, you see. Imagine Beyond Thunderdome, except it's not Thunderdome, it's me inside of a cage. Whoa, Wicker Cage! Wicker Cage match versus Wiccans. Wicker Cage match with me, Nick Cage. With me, Nick. Wicker Cage match with me, Nick Cage, versus a coven of witches, Wiccan witches, in a cage match of wicker cages to the death.
If you like this analysis, be sure to click subscribe and give me a thumbs up down below. Also, be sure to check out Jay's analysis and definitely click the bell down below to be sure you get the updates.